Hi, my name is Diana Sadiego, and I wanted to give you a brief testimony of my mold journey and how I finally found the right remediation company to help my family and myself. The journey started about 2 years ago. As the pandemic started, my daughter started having a lot of health issues. My husband and I as well, but nothing like my 6-year-old daughter at the time. She was having a lot of stomach aches, headaches. She was getting sick often, ear infections, sinus issues, you name it. It just progressively got worse, obviously, because of the pandemic, and we were spending 100% of our time at home. And the last straw was severe behavioral issues. We went to the Western medicine route, visited her pediatrician several times, and they just kept telling us that it was probably anxiety, something to that effect. I knew it couldn't have been that. My daughter had never suffered from such a thing, and we were actually enjoying ourselves during quarantine, spending family time together. Shortly thereafter, we discovered that we had some mold in the house, in the kitchen, and a couple of other areas. At that moment, it was our first time filing a claim with the insurance company, and they directed us to use one of their vendors to come and remediate one area of the mold. This company came in, they remediated the area. There was no testing beforehand. There was no post-testing. There wasn't a report given. They never told us any information of mold and our belongings or cross-contamination or the HVAC. Therefore, the second and third location that had mold at the house, we decided to go our own route with the recommendation that we received. At that point, we really didn't have much knowledge on mold and how much misinformation is out there. Therefore, we just went with this company. They tested, they used air samples. At that point, we still weren't aware that really doesn't do anything. They came in, they remediated, and afterwards we rebuilt. We thought everything was fine, but my daughter's condition was still persistent. We started to, in that process, I started to read up a little bit more, and I found out about Dr. Shoemaker, and, I started following people on social media, reading reviews, and just kind of getting more information. And we decided to end up seeing a functional doctor. And that functional doctor did a urine analysis on my daughter. And in fact, it was, she did have issues with mold in her system. He recommended Joel and his company, Mr. Mold, and it was the best decision that we've ever made. This was our third and final attempt at remediating our home before having to leave, to be honest. What can I say? Where can I begin? It's been such a wonderful journey. Joel and his company and the entire team has been wonderful to work with. So much information was given to us just from the initial contact in the office, completely understanding the consultation. Joel came over. We met him for the first time. Such a bubbly personality, such good vibes, great energy, very informative. As he was in our home for a consult, which should normally take about 2 hours, he was there about 4 to 5. And honestly, you can tell that he has a passion for this, that he's here to help people. We didn't know that there was a difference between just a regular remediation and something that you would call medical grade. As I said, there really isn't a lot of information out there. You have to really research and do your due diligence to kind of get to find this, which, I hope that will change in the future. And I think people like Joel are bringing things to light so that people understand what's going on. As I mentioned before, he came through the house with a consultation. He searched every nook and cranny in that house, showed us pictures, which, for a lot of people that are skeptical about stuff like this, my family just kept telling me, oh, people are just trying to rob you. Nothing is wrong. If you saw my house, to the naked eye, everything looked great. Everything looked new. Everything looked perfect. We didn't notice anything, to be honest, other than a little bit of, mold in one of the cabinets, but the rest of the stuff was hidden behind the walls. So fast tracking a little bit, we went ahead and we retained Mr. Mold. And remediation started, and every step of the way his team and Joelle have been in contact with us. Every area, we had hundreds of photos sent to us as they opened up to show us what was behind the walls. There was a lot of investigative procedures done, because when he was conducting his initial consultation, there was a lot of high moisture readings throughout the ceiling in different areas in the home, but there was no real way of knowing until they actually went inside and started doing some more investigative work. Let me tell you that the process has been incredible. I really wish that I would have done my homework sooner. I cannot recommend them anymore. They're incredible. They're wonderful. Their customer service is like no other. They really make you feel like you're part of the family, like they care. They do. I mean, they do. It's pretty evident. And I'm just so grateful. Everything has been remediated in my home. They found the sources, which was such a huge deal for me, because the other remediation companies, they came, they remediated the area. They weren't looking at it as a total package when it came to the house and the HVAC system. And they never told us, or probably they don't know, that if you have mold in one area, it's going to be in the air, which means it's in your HVAC, which means it's on your walls, it's on your furniture, it's on all your personal items. With Mr. Mold, they were very detailed oriented. I'm a little OCD, and when they would show me the pictures, I was completely blown away and satisfied with the fact that they would go through every little article of personal belongings, and they were cleaning everything, I mean, so thoroughly. I was thrilled. I was thrilled, and I knew that this was the way that, my family would get their health back and we'd be in a clean home. And the process has been incredible. Joel in particular, he's available at night, day, around the clock, weekends. The information, not just with the mold and how everything functions, but giving us tips on how to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Going above and beyond, finding the sources, that to me has been, I can't even tell you, as a homeowner, as somebody that isn't really familiar with construction, and my husband isn't either, you put your trust in people. And unfortunately in Miami, we have a lot of vendors that just care about the money, and they don't really take the time to listen to you or any of that. And Joel and his team have been wonderful, and it's a breath of fresh air in a time like this where it's just about the money. With Mr. Mold, you get more than just a business and a company. You end up with a friend of the family, somebody that really cares about you. And what else can I say? He's walked us through the entire process, held our hand, and comforted us through the entire ordeal. And all I can say is I wish I would have found him sooner. But we don't stick to the negative. We think about the positive of how things are now. And if you suspect mold in your house, or if you know anybody suffering from a lot of issues, Google them. There's so many symptoms that are linked to it, and people just have no clue. And Western medicine really doesn't have any answers for you. I would say, put your trust in Mr. Mold and his company. They really care about you and your health of your family, and they guide you, and what can I say? I love them. They are wonderful. They have made me see light at the end of the tunnel after a long and stressful journey, to be honest, because, one thing is, when your kid is having health issues, it's a lot. It's very stressful. And I just wanted to let you guys know that they are the best. They are the best, and you wouldn't be in greater hands. So I definitely recommend Mr. Mold, Joel, and his entire staff with my health and my home, and I think you should trust them too.